But we'll see. We'll see. Uh, I mean, I like to be in the woods, you know. I can definitely feel that carpenter vibe though. Like sometimes get in the mood to like want to build something. I'm like, I just want to make something. That's so satisfying to me to like build something. That's like the most. But I feel like art is like building something. You're like building a painting. Whoa! Look at all that. Graybeard art. Nice. Nice. Graybeard art. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I kind of, I feel like I'm a carpenter, but it's weird because all the women were artistic, and then all the men were musically inclined. So I kind of got both of that. I got everything, and it's funny how because there's not a lot of women who are musically inclined in my family. It's all boys that play guitars and shit. But my grandpa played banjo and guitar, and my other grandfather played guitar, and he was also a carpenter. So it's like I got that double carpenter power coming from both sides, and the artistic stuff coming from both sides. I think there's a lot of influence there just from being it being passed down kind of thing. But I feel like if your grandparents did it, then there's a good chance you might be good at it. So like for somebody who that could even help somebody who's like looking for something to be interested in. You're like, I don't even know what I'm into. I need to find a new hobby. I need to find some shit that just go look at what your grandparents were into. Maybe it was fishing. Maybe it was, who knows? Try it out. You're like, oh yeah, I got some of that in the garage. He left me that, whatever. Like maybe his thing was like canoeing or something, or riding, or who knows? Like, like it could be a hidden thing within you didn't even know you had. Like I think about that. I'm like, okay, what did my grandfather do? He would, one thing, you really do inherit their faults as well, because like I remember unfinished projects everywhere. And anyways. You ever had a racist moment? But it was funny growing up. My mom thought for sure I was Mexican, Indian, African, and Irish. I finally did the Gina thing. And surprise, I'm pretty white. A little American, a little Mediterranean, but yeah, pretty white. Nice. Well, I don't know. We are whatever. We're all from Earth, right? Dakota from Earth. Like it's just come on. I think we're done with the races now, right? It's funny though, like how we all define that when we're young, like that not speaking Spanish because that's not a good thing, or whatever. It's like, dude, why couldn't I grow up learning Spanish? Jeez, it was right there. You could have spoke it to me. And like, what the fuck? But whatever. It's not their fault. That's just the way this shit is. And that's who I am. Like, if I was bilingual, like, it would be by choice. I would have to seek it out and learn it. Go to Mexico or something. Wherever I work with Mexican people, I usually end up speaking Spanish pretty good. And I can understand it, and I can kind of speak it, but I'm not, like, fluent. I ain't dreaming in Spanish, that's for sure. But supposedly I'm half French, too, so I don't know what the fuck that means. I can cuss, I guess. Excuse my French. I can talk like this and not totally offend anybody, right? Like, what the fuck? I don't even know how French people sound. Whatever. Oh. I don't know. What? Alright, we need to add some dark stuff to this painting. It's got too much white. I made them way too white. We need to darken it back. Oh, I was going to add yellow. That's right. We need a yellow layer. Oh. But I just added a bunch of white. So let's blow on it a little bit. I just sketched this one out and did the bottom layer of Little Dragon. I'm going to do that one next. Wee. Wee, wee, wee. Dad bun. Dude, I was watching you for a little while. You're fucking hilarious, dude. You were cracking me up. I was like, I can't express my laughter right now. I was distracted, but it was funny. I appreciate you. All right, we're gonna let this dry a little bit more. And I'm gonna sketch out this other image of Dakota that I want to paint. If I could find a piece of frickin' paper, man. Oh, here's a piece of ripped paper. We can use this. This is just scraps. Perfect. I have this other image of Dakota that I want to paint that is from his that documentary thing. This one, where he's holding a skull. I think that would be fucking cool. That would be a sweet. That right there. Let's do it real quick. Dad bun. Dad bun. Waffles. Yeah, man. No, I'm sorry I couldn't talk more. I wish I could just be like, hey, but I was tired, you know. Or I was like watering or something. I forgot what I was doing. It's like, I gotta go. Right, let's see here. Let me just try to get this body real quick. So before I paint it, I want to sketch it out first to make sure I get it right. It's easier to go from a sketch you've already done than to just go straight, you know. Like it's like practice. You just gotta practice it a couple times. I'll probably sketch this twice, and then I'll sketch it on the canvas, and then it'll just be all those mistakes you might make along the way. You'll just make them in the sketch, you know, not in the painting. You know, it just makes it so when you get to the painting, it helps if you do it like in the same day. Like, don't practice the sketch like and then a week later paint it. You know what I mean? Like, if you do it in the same day, it helps. But I don't think it helps if you try to do that. Like, oh, I sketched it a month later. I was like, okay, I want to paint it now. It's like muscle memory kind of thing. You got to do it like today. But it just sketching it real fast, just like I'm doing it right now. I think it helps just build up that confidence a little bit. It's like you're building confidence when you repeat yourself, when you practice, when you play the chords again and again and again, and you're like, oh, I make those chords sound great, and you don't have to look at your hand like that. Like when you're playing guitar and you're like, oh, I know how to do it now, and I don't have to look. Look, I could play a G chord without looking. G's are easy.
I believe in you.
You believe in me? Wow. Thank you for believing in me. Oh, Wolf Puppy believes in me. Yay! Wolf Puppy! Thank you for believing in me, Wolf Puppy! But it's super easy. It's not. It's just. You just gotta follow steps, you know. It's like anything. If you're learning something new, if you just follow steps and practice. I know a lot of people just want to like go with their whatever they're vibing with. Hey, thanks for the host. Whatever, you know, like whatever you're like you're like, I just going with the flow, man. That's cool too. That works. But you kind of run out of stuff to do sometimes when you're just going with the flow. If you're doing that though, you know what really helps if you're just like dancing. You're like, I'm gonna paint something and just make it up. Always, it's best to just paint the thing you're most comfortable painting, like your favorite thing to paint. Just whatever your favorite thing to paint is. Whatever you're like a tree. It would be a tree for me. I just effortlessly. I don't have to think about it. I just and there's a tree, you know. And you know, who knows what'll happen? It can turn into anything after that. But you know, it could be a heart tree, it could be a redwood tree, it could be a whole landscape or something. But just pick one thing you've done a bunch, and you just go with that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Hello. Hello. Of course I do. Of course it quacks. on and on. Yeah, so just, practicing. Just trying to... Quick sketches are good because you get all these loose lines, and then when you go back in, what helps is to use 2 different colored pencils when you're sketching. This is one thing I found. If you use like red and black, or blue and black or something, a lighter tone and a dark. So what you do is you just loosely sketch it, just like take your reference photo, just sketch the, just get it quick. Don't spend too much time on detail. Just try to get the basic structure of whatever's happening. This is difficult because his leg is down in this bent knee position. Just looks really weird. And he's got his hand out like this. But God, that is weird. His little foot down here and stuff. That's gonna be tricky. But if you just see how I'm holding the pencil, I'm not even holding it like this. Try to just hold it like that and just like a wand or something. You direct it like this. When you do loose sketches, it helps to just go straight on like this for me, because then I can move my whole arm. I'm not just going like this and getting all this. You only have this much range when you're sketching like this, but when you draw like this, you have a whole page here. It opens up. You're like, but when you're doing this, you're like, oh, kind of like this, and then there's an ear, and then there's this way you see the whole thing at more of a glance. You can kind of go, okay, there's this here, this hair's over here, and then when you go to and then when you see how it's all like rough, sketchy looking, then you just go back with your dark stuff and you fill it all in. You find the good lines. You're like, oh, that's a good line right there. That really defines it. And then this one right here, and this one right here. And you go in and you just kind of find all that stuff that you want to keep, all the keepers. You're like, okay, I really like that. Or like, see how there's 2 lines here. You're like, well, actually, this one's better out here. You can see like the possibilities. You know what I mean? Like I made many layers of his face right here, so I'm like, well, maybe it's actually more out here on this line instead of this one. So you can like choose when you go back with the darker color. You can be like, oh, okay, well, it's actually, his hair's up here. You can see your mistake, and then like at the back of the highlight magazine, when you go back and forth, you're like, okay, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. You just like go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You're like, okay, that's wrong, that needs to change, but then you can like grab the right stuff, and that's just like a rough sketch. And then even the black is a rough sketch, because then you're going to redo it on another thing and paint it. But then this way you can like work out all those problems when you do it real fast. Like, I'm talking too much, I need to just hurry up and just do this. The faster you do it, I think the better too, because you're not wasting all this time and you're just getting it out, and you're practicing the movements to get to the end result. And then I can see like all the things I'm doing wrong and what I need to do from the beginning, the first time, next time. But it does help doing it all at the same time, like today. Don't do a sketch of something and then paint it a week later or a month later or something. It helps to do it like at the same time. So I'm just doing this quick sketch, and then I'm going to resketch it on canvas. The trickiest part is going to be doing his crotch down here. So, see, already I'm like, fuck, do I want to do that? Do I want to try to do his foot under here? Like up in his butt right here? He's got his like butt up against his foot. Like, that's just a weird look. It looks like a penis coming out. I mean, like, I'm not going to try to do that. So, naturally, you could add a lot more detail in the face if you just crop this right here. So I'm going to redraw this, but just this part. Bigger and more detailed. See, I would have known that if I hadn't started sketching it. I'm like, oh my God, this is hard. I can't do this. Fuck that. That's too much work. So I'm just going to zoom in right here and get that part. Just that part. Because that looks fucking cool. You get his tattoos all close up, and you can put way more detail in there with his face close up. So I always learn this the hard way. So I'm gonna put his face this big, you know, instead of like this big. And then we'll get way more detail, and we'll get his tattoos and everything. Fuck that leg position. That was stupid. So that's the benefit of doing a sketch first, is that you're like, oh, I don't really want to do it like that. Oh, okay, never mind. Avoid that, you know. Avoid trying to accomplish that before you know, try. You end up spending too much time on that. And you're like, I should have left that part out. See, right now I'm just kind of trying to figure out how big I can make the face and still get this skull in here. This thumb, this is a good hand position because it's easy to draw. It's just like his hand going like this and like this. And like this. So I can make his face that big and still keep the skull in there. I might have to cut his arm off a little bit. So the skull. So whenever you're doing like a reference photo, when you're drawing from a picture like this, like you're looking at a picture and you're looking at that, it's helpful to make references in the reference photo. Like, so for instance, his sleeve is straight across from his thumb, and his thumb is straight across from that finger, and then like the middle of his hand is straight up by the nose. Like, that's how you get proportions right. You know what I mean? That's how you make things look accurate. If you're just looking at it, if you're not tracing it or something, then like same thing with the face. The edge of the mouth always lines up with the middle of the eye. You know, just there's certain rules. Like the bottom of the ear lines up with the nose in a certain way. Like, just paying attention, even if it's not the same every time. Like when within the picture, you can kind of grid it off so you get the portions right. So you see how his ear right here is lined up with his arm right there. So if I make that little space right there, then I'll know that his ear lines up perfectly with that. So that's a way to get it more accurate when you're sketching. Just look at those reference photos within the reference photo, and then you can make it look more accurate. That's it. It's pretty easy. Like, I do that with shoulders a lot. Like, the bottom of the chin lines up with the edge of the shoulder, and then it goes up. And then see the ear here is like, and then the bottom of the ear lines up with the edge of his collar right here. And then the edge of his collar has there's like a stone right there. He has some necklaces. And then there's like all these wrinkles here. And then his arm kind of, okay, where's the bottom of that? So his thumb lines up with the bottom of his sleeve right there. So that kind of thing. You get a little more accurate when you can pinpoint stuff. So like the pupil will be like, pupils always line up directly in the middle with the corner of the mouth. It doesn't matter whose face it is. Every single face you look at, that's the one constant in faces. It's the corner of the mouth always lines up with the middle of the eye. Everybody's face. Doesn't matter who. I mean, maybe some weird looking. I don't know. I'm not gonna say nothing. But you know, some people's faces are a little alien looking. Just joking. But one of the things you want to always get to make it look more accurate is the space between the eyes. So the size of the eye, you know, there's two eyes. There's one eye in between the two eyes. So there's enough room between both eyes for the same size eye. That's how you measure that too. So if you can fit one of his eyes in between, you spaced it just right. There's always that much room, like an eyeball in right there, and then another one right there. That's how you can space it right every time. So there's always one eye space between an eye. Yeah, except Steven Tyler. There you go. Yeah, except Steven Tyler's mouth, it goes back like right here. It's like right there. He's like a puppet. That guy's like a puppet master or some shit. I don't even know what he is. But most of the time, yeah, I mean, some people's maybe Liv Tyler's too. I don't know. But some people's, I mean, it's usually how it lines up. I'm sure theirs is too. They just probably have more jaw going on, you know. It's like this way. So, I'm gonna go back to painting this guy. Where is he? What did I do with him? Dakota, where you go? Oh, he's right here. I'm gonna add a layer of yellow. And you're probably asking yourself, why yellow? I don't know if I can find the yellow. I found a hacky sack. Look, I found a hacky sack. It's got some weed on it. Oh, here it is. Alright, I found it. Get out of there. Found a hacky sack. Got it all dirty. Look at that. So I'm just gonna take a thin layer. Oh, look at this real thin brush. I like that brush. That's nice. It's like a watercolor brush, I think. But I'm kind of gonna do watercolor on here right now. So I'm just gonna take like a little tiny bit of yellow, just the tiniest fucking little bits, and all I got is a tiny bit apparently. Let's just try to get it out of there. So just a tiny little bit of there it is. And then we're gonna just dip this in water. With some water. Okay, we got that all wet. So then I'm gonna just grab that and do the whole thing. Try to do it as thin as possible. Just get it real thin. Maybe I'll add some more water and pull it off. Looks like a lot. Let me just spread it around. So just the thinnest layer, and I try to just go all one direction on the whole thing. And you can see what it does is creates this third color, or another color actually. Yeah. In some spots, not all spots. As it dries, it'll thin out a little bit, but basically we got orange over here now on the pink, and his face is a nice flesh tone. It's pretty yellow, but it's way more fleshy than yellow. I don't know, the camera picks up weird shit. But that combination of colors, you know, like instead of blending it in your palette, you can just do it right on the canvas. And then if you use thin layers of paint, you can layer it up. So by not doing it right after and letting it dry a little bit, it didn't blend. So that layer I did before that didn't blend with that layer. So it's its own thing, you know. So now I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna go back with blue and do some darker stuff. Get back in there with some detail, and then I'm gonna go back with white and do some more detail. I'll highlight the cheeks again, and highlight this spot right here on the nose. Highlight the lip and the chin and some of this stuff. Darken this. Get a little more shadows here. Just kind of keep going with the like little spot paintings of highlights, and then we're gonna do one more layer of pink, I think, after that, and then do more white on top of that, and then by then it should look pretty fucking badass. It should look pretty realistic, because the combination of all those colors brings that skin tone out. You don't have to try to make a skin tone, you know what I mean? Like when you get that combination. Right now it looks green, it totally looks green, but once I add white and more blue in the dark spots, and then do a layer of pink, he'll look like real. It's weird. It's like you're developing a photo, you know. You start with an underpainting, and you paint white and one color, usually red or blue, and then you let that dry, and then you do washes on top of that, and then on top of that, and then it's just step by step. You gotta do the next step. So this is on the first step right here, which is I sketched it. Look at, I sketched her out, and then I sketched her face on the canvas, and then I put one layer of blue on there. I haven't even added white yet. So this is Little Dragon right here. Little Dragon. Let me show you a picture. She's badass. We're just listening to her. It won't focus. Little Dragon. I'm sure she has a real name, right? Let's see. So I'm just gonna add white to all the... Where's my brush? There it is. So then I'm going to just grab some white right here, like this, because I already have a whole bunch. Just start going in. Oh, I guess I don't. Right, there it is. Just start going in here and adding white to all these spots that... This is the first layer. We're just filling in shapes. That's it. Not trying to put any shadows here or anything. Just getting these shapes filled in. Take all the highlighted stuff. And that's just, you just build the face up. You're like building it layer by layer. It's great. And you can do a couple at a time. Like if you're waiting for that one to dry, you can just, you're like, oh, I'll just work on this one. But you don't need like any crazy fancy colors or nothing. I'm just using primary colors. You don't need to go get like, actually get phthalo blue. That's what this is. Phthalo blue is like really nice, dark, rich blue. It's not that primary blue that they give you. And I would suggest canary yellow instead of the one that they give you. The one that they give you in the basic packs are just, it's a weird one. It's like fluorescent or something. It's just whatever they have a lot of, I think. But yeah, those two. And then I use a lot of pink just because it makes it brighter. I feel like it's brighter. When you mix pink with yellow, you get a nice like orange. And so I rarely use red. I feel like that's too dark. But that's just me. That's just my style. I think most people use red. And so it comes out more realistic. But I use pink and it comes out looking like vibrant. So you get the idea. You draw it out. I drew it a couple times. Then you draw it on the canvas. And then you add white paint, like I'm doing right now. Or you add a solid layer of color. I'm using this kind of brush right here. It's a round brush. It's round at the tip. And basically you can paint a face. It's easy. It's not that hard. It's just a different way of painting it. You're not painting directly. Look, I still had a little bit of pink on there or something. It's all trying to blend. Weird. Alright, so now she's got like this thing right here. It's like a reflection in her hair. So when I go back, I'll just add blue like on the edge of there. It'll look like a reflection inside of her hair. She's got one kind of over here too. Get more on her chin. So then I'm gonna let that dry, and then the next layer will be pink. I'll add a layer of pink. So sometimes you can start with blue, or you can start with red or pink or whatever. But it's good to start with one of those. I've seen people start with yellow, and it looks cool. It's like very glowy. It's got a glow to it. I haven't done that yet. I haven't tried starting with yellow. Like just do an underpainting with yellow first. That would be weird. Team Tina T, thanks for following me. You're in and out for a bit? Okay. I'll be here. Alright, so we're just going to let that dry. I'll come back and add a layer of pink. And then after that dries, I'll add a layer of white. And it'll pop right out. You can fix all the mistakes and get the details and keep adding blue and get more of the darker stuff. So this one's kind of dry. It was under the fan over here. Alright, so now I'm just going to add white with that same brush that I was just using. That same brush I was just using, this one. It's a round brush. It's nice because it's got, when it's round, you can kind of like, you can do little dabs, or you can just kind of lightly feather it on. And when you do the white layers on here, you don't want to like put too much paint. It's just just enough to get it on there, you know. And then one thing I like to practice is just to do like all one direction strokes. Like try not to get too crazy, you know. And I just at this point I just lightly put it on. I'm not like gobbing it on or anything. You can see that it just adds that like extra dimension to it. And then by adding the white, look at how it's getting into a skin tone now, because there was pink under there, there was blue under there. You're like blending thin layers of paint to get a color. And so like at the end you get this like realistic looking, like when you look at it up close, you're like, how did you do that? It's like every color in there. How the fuck did you do that? It's kind of a cool trick, but you know, it's like every fucking color. Look. It has a name. I've heard it called indirect painting. I've heard it called the Miche technique. I've heard it called just how you paint a face. But it's definitely been around for a while, this style. And a lot of old paintings are done like this. Like like when you see Rembrandt's or some shit. Like when you see those old paintings, this is how they did it. This is the process they used. But then they would just keep going and with the detail. They do this whole process and then they just keep going. I think it looks cool, like and glowy when you just don't finish. You just kind of let that color come through. But they would just keep going, and then finally get to a place of like super accurate or just real, you know, real accurate, I guess. If you want to direct the paint, I mean, you can get something called portrait pink, which is really nice. And basically just another way of painting faces is super easy too, is just paint it in black and white. Just paint it in fucking black and white. And then you add a wash layer of portrait pink. And then it just fills it in. And then for all your shadows, you go back with a thin layer of like burnt sienna or something like that. And you just add in the shadows. It's pretty fucking easy. And that's a whole other technique right there too. I should do that one day. But there's just like a lot of ways to get there. You know, it's not just direct painting. And I think everybody thinks painting is all just direct painting. I did. I thought it was all direct. You know, I didn't realize that you could paint like this. I had to watch other people paint and go, oh, okay. That's how they do that. And then, you know, just learning about a process too. Like I remember when Dreamer Mala was like working on some commission, or it was like I think it was a contest or some internet thing where the Instagram page would share it or something like that. And she's like, I was like, wow, how'd you get it to look so accurate? And she's like, oh, I just traced it. Oh no, wait. Did she say that? Yeah, she said, I just traced it. That's what it was. She's like, I just did the, you know, like a carbon transfer kind of thing. I was like, oh shit, that's right. You could just totally skip a step and just transfer that shit, or project it. Like a lot of people project stuff, and my gosh. But the thing I've learned with doing that, with projecting, because I've projected stuff, it's easy, is that you can get the outline of somebody really accurate. But all that work in between, all that skin tone and all the technique you're using to get it to look more accurate, that's all you. It's just a step. Like projecting or tracing or using a reference photo, that's just a step in the process of getting there. You know what I mean? And if you do that in your practice, eventually you won't even need it. Like that's what I found, is I projected like at least 10 paintings, and then at the end of that I was like, I don't even need it now. I see what it was. It's like you need the crutch there for a minute to go, oh, that's what I was doing wrong. And then you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I'm looking at it differently. And then you just don't need it anymore. You're like, oh, I can get this. Unless you have to, like that's a whole step you can skip over if you're not good at it. Like that's how people paint murals. You just project it on the wall and then you trace it. It's not like that unknown. A lot of artists use it. It's been around for a couple hundred years. There's a ton of apps out there that you can like take a photo and project it onto a piece of paper and just trace it. You know what I mean? It's... You follow my podcast? Nice. Yeah, I think it's like, there's all these things when you first start painting where or being an artist where you think, oh, I have to be true to the natural talent, or you think it's a talent, but if you just practice and you learn techniques and you try them all and you figure out which one you like and you do a bunch of shit, then you're like, oh, okay, it's not that hard. It's like playing music. You play music enough and you start hearing the chords in every song and you're like, wow, that's easy. When you start playing a lot of music, you notice how easy and simple a lot of music is. You're like, wow, they're really not doing anything in there, are they? Like, when I started playing guitar leads, I was like, holy shit, people aren't, it's not that creative to do a guitar lead. It's not that hard. Most people, unique guitar leads are in the tone of the guitar and just like the bends and the hammer-ons and not the sequence of notes you're playing. It's not technical. It's like usually 3 notes and you're bending one of them, and it's like all emotional or some shit. It's not like it's this cool little mini pattern. It's not like this crazy, like, even like a blues solo is a simple fucking pattern, and it's the same everywhere on the whole neck of the guitar. And once you learn that shit, you're like, there's not much variation from the same shit. But when you don't know about that stuff, it sounds like magic. It sounds like, how the fuck did they do that guitar solo? Whoa. But then when you've heard like a couple hundred guitar solos, you realize that the ones that make it unique are the ones that are like messing with the tone of the guitar and it sounds like nothing else you've ever heard. You're like, whoa, that's a crazy tone. It's doing some weird warble whatever. It's all, you're like, what the fucking pedal is that? It's not about what they're playing, it's about the sound of it, the way that the tone is. I find that interesting. So like the uniqueness comes with the flair you put on it, or whatever, the way you do it, because everybody wants to add their own little thing to it. Alright, I'm getting to the point where I want to focus on this a little bit more. So I'm going to add a little bit of white here. In this photo, it looks like he has a little milk mustache. Hey man, you drinking milk? There we go. He doesn't really have like I need to make his mustache come down a little bit more. But he has like a lot of highlighted light right here on the tip of his nose. He's got a piercing right there. He kind of looks like, I made him look like he's kind of smiling, but in the picture he looks super serious. I always do that. I always make people smile. Like, smile, damn it. But all you have to do is this, and then just take that little curl out of the end of the mouth, and now he's frowning. That's all you gotta do. I'll fix his mustache too, to make it look like he's all, he's like biting his lip or something. See, look how big his lip looks. You need to go like this right here. Cut it in. And then this is a huge shadow under his lip. So I'm gonna have to go back. And this lip is not this high up. I haven't really got here yet. Let's see, this lip goes up here. There we go. And then I'll just bring this up. Like this. This comes up a little bit more. And then this is light, and this is light. And then this is all shadowed. I'm going to redo that shadow. But see how much looser? You don't have to like be all precise. You know what I mean? When you just work in layers, you can kind of be sloppy and just let it go. It's more natural and it looks like a person's face. It's not all like super exact. Like a lot of these brush strokes I'm doing are just I'm barely touching the canvas. I'm just barely putting paint on there. It's like I'm sketching with the pencil or with the brush. Yeah, but with the brush. All right. Let's add a little bit more here. Just got like a highlight over here. This, just make this glow. I'll have to redo his hair. This is kind of dark. We can just go like that real quick. There we go. I'll have to redo his mustache. And so a lot of it seems like, I don't know what's the word. Like a waste of time sometimes, because I'm gonna go over this white again, but it's all about building up those layers, and I'm not using that much paint. I'm really not using much at all. It's just like light amount of paint. I'm not using shit. Like if you were to touch this canvas, it'd be flat. There's no brush strokes. There's not anything. There's no like raised anything, I guess I should say. There's paint. It's not raised up. Alright, so now I need to add, where's my other brush at? Shit. Where'd that little brush go? I don't know what happened to my little tiny brush. Oh, here they are. I'm gonna take one of these little guys. Oh wait, no, this one. And get the whites of his eyes. It goes on and on and on. Have to make his eyes a little bit bigger. Just the pupil part. Kind of shrunk it down just then. And then this part should be highlighted up here. This has like a nice little highlight right there. And then on the edge of his eye, it's all bright. I think it's almost brighter on that rim there than inside of his eye. Just try to put that on there. Yeah, I gotta redo this eye. Alright, so I'm gonna bust out not my black yet. I'm gonna bust out some pink, just for the edge of his eye. And because I'm using pink, I'll mix pink and yellow so I can just get the edge of the eye. Pink and yellow, and then maybe we'll put some blue on there. That looks trippy. Oh shit. Alright, we need to add some. This eye is like floating over here and it's starting to annoy me. There's too much space over here on this side. I need to bring this down right here and then finish the bottom of this eye right here. So now it's all detailed stuff. So like there's a lot of fucking blue I can put on here. Redefine these eyebrows. It's basically every color I need to go back with, and then like just get all that shit tuned up. And get some blue on here. Tune it up. Gotta get all that little detail shit. That's the last layer. That's the last layer. Detail stuff. So I'm gonna go in here. Some blue. Alright, that's a little better. Hello. Tsunami Bet. On and on and on. His eyes purple. I need to finish this shadow here because it looks like it just looks weird. It looks weird. It goes on and on and on and away. Shave the side of his head down a little bit. Yeah, it's acrylics. It's Liquitex. Acrylics. It goes on. Tsunami bit. Just adding some more blue in here. Some of the spots that I feel like needs it. This mustache. Gotta redo this a little bit. I got a little too much white up there. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, maybe too much right there. Shite. Shite-ski. Uh-oh, my battery's down. Oh, no! Oops. I meant to do that. Yeah, that was on purpose. Totally. My battery's dying. I got distracted. Alright, we're gonna have to fix his lip again. This is the third time I've had to fix his lip. The lip fixer. Guess I just have to do it detailed. On and on and on. Oh, that did some weird shit. That looked weird. That was weird, bro. He has blue lips. Let's just make the rest of them blue. I gotta add some more blue anyway. Let's do a layer of blue. This needs to be darkened. I got like 2 layers to go still, so I'm still in the process of getting it there. I got a little distracted though with my layers. I was gonna do a layer of pink on top of this, but I think I'm gonna just keep going with this blue, because there's a lot of stuff here that needs blue. I'm like, oh shit, this stuff all disappeared when I put those other layers on. Alright, this is eyebrow. This is under eye things going on. There's the shadow under the eye thing. There's this shadow. I'm gonna have to do another layer of white. Shit. Oh well. And then I wake up. I'm almost tired of standing. Alright, we're gonna let that chill, dry out. Yeah, let that dry, and then we'll add a layer of pink, and then I'll just do like the last layer, you know. Just get the last white layer, the last blue layer. I'll finish his eyes. Here, I could probably add some white right here, quick, real quick. Wait, no, maybe not. Do I have any? Yes. On and on and on and on. But I'll come back to YouTube and finish it off on YouTube. But I'm gonna go back to Twitch right now. You guys are on Twitch. Hello there. But I'm gonna turn off YouTube. Just a second. Doesn't quite look like him yet to me, but let's get there. Oh no, no. Hey, thanks for that. Thanks for that follow on YouTube. Alright, I need to let this dry a little. Yeah, I made the eyes a little bigger because I wanted to shrink them down a little. I want to shrink them. Plus, I'm not done. I'm not even close to done. Yeah, Alpog. No problem. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Damn, I got too much pain there.
Thank you.
Oh, jeez.
Tips of Choi.
Thank you for Everyday Wizard V.
Tips of joy. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Carla Happy. I appreciate that. Thanks for helping me. Thanks for supporting the stream. Keeping this going. Helping me pay my rent. 'Cause that's what I do here every single day. I stream every day, guys. Right here. I paint, I play music, I'm on Twitch every day. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. Just the tip, though. Nothing else. Just the tip. I just want to see what it feels like. Come on. Okay, usually right around here at this point. There's always a point in a portrait painting for me where I have to just stop. I'm doing too much. Like right now. I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm doing too much. But I'm fixing some stuff too. So, but I get to this point where I'm like, okay, I need to just mellow off and let it dry. Come back to it. And look at it for a while. Like looking at it, you're like, okay, I need to fix this, I need to fix this, I need to fix this, fix this. And then, the last layer is just me adding like really tiny, just little details of, just tiny little things. Smallest. Just little micro things. Micro expressions. Micro machines. It's like it makes you really observant. You start to notice all these tiny little things on the people's faces. You're like, whoa, that's a trip. YouTube University. What are you trying to do? Have you tried Canvas? It's a really cool website. You can do all kinds of shit on there. I'm starting to get to the too much stage, but it looks better. I just need to add some stuff right here. I have to tell myself to stop like 5 times before I actually stop. Stop. Stop it. Just wait a sec. You're going too fast. Slow down. just pause, right? Before I get too fucking crazy. Just take a minute. Take a few minutes. And contemplate what we've done. I need to fix that nose, I think, first thing. Fix that right eye. What the hell? I made his eyes way bigger than they should be. I need to shave them down just a tiny bit. I need to fix the top of this eye because it's got a weird shape. It should be bowed and not like. I made it too almond-eyed. It needs to be. This one needs to match this one. They're not quite matching. And then I need darker stuff back in here to make his eyeballs sink in. I need to work on this undershadow a little bit more. It needs to come down a little bit to there. I need to work on that side of the nose. There's like a little shadow up here. I need to fix his lip because I still have him kind of smirking, but in the photo he's got like, it's definitely like I'm fucking badass, hard, fucking, I'm gonna kick your ass kind of look. You know, he's got that like gangster look. But in this picture he's all, hi, how's it going? Like mischievous or something. But in this picture he's all, fuck you, I'm gonna fuck you up, like that. So I need to fix the lip, and all I have to do is just fix this shadow right here, this shadow, and then the bottom lip, and get this bottom shadow better. Cause it's almost like he's like doing like a little pouty lip, but not really. It's like he's biting his lip almost. It's like he's trying to not say something. That's what I get from that photo. All right, so there it is, and we'll come back and we'll finish it. But let's work on this other one. Doodly-doo.